la televisión, que voy a hablar con Lais y con Coach. Bebé. Mom duties.
Hi, hear you.
Hey.
I have it. Hi, Sheyla.
So happy to be here.
Hey. We are happy to have you. I'm gonna tag
Good
you.
evening, y buenas noches.
I know.
Buenas noches.
Welcome to Lais and The Coach.
Yes. I'm so excited.
So we can do this a few different ways. We could do it in English and Spanish. We could do it in English. We could do it in Spanish.
Can we do both?
Because this will be our first bilingual show.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, don't be sorry.
It's great.
We keep it real.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first of all, congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
New WBFF Pro.
So exciting.
That's huge.
So well deserved. You looked amazing.
Thank you.
So ideally what we like is to talk about the journey, right? You know, because when you get on stage, that's the end. Like you did everything you had to do already. The stage is the very, very end. But we like to talk about the journey to the stage and all the things that come up, all the obstacles that come up, so that people that listen can see that it's not always easy and things are not simple for everybody. Just because it looks like you got on stage and all you did was eat your food and train, that might not been what happened, you know? So let's start at the beginning. When did you decide that you wanted to, because you've competed before?
Yes, but I competed in, if I say something wrong, please correct me.
No, however you
Okay,
want.
so I competed in my country, in Dominican Republic, it was IFBB, kind of NPC. So the bodies, I mean, they want bodies, super dry bodies, super skinny bodies, and that was not for me. I did 4 shows, I think 5 shows, and I always won. I mean, first, second, or third. Because coach, I'm really disciplined and everything, but that was not for me. No podía comer, I mean, nothing. It was so strict. That diet is not for humans. Not for humans. No, the carbs are like this. You can eat anything. I mean, it's super hard. So I was searching, because this compete is something like you really have to experience. It doesn't matter if you want, if you want to do it for just for winning or for the experience, but you need to do this. And the WBFF is the best platform to do this, because you don't have to be that strict, because the body is just a 45%. The other part, which is important too, is your presence, your gowns, how you walk on stage. Thank you, Lais, because IFBB and WBFF are not the same thing.
Right.
I mean, you have to divide up. You have to do like certain things that you can't do on IFBB or NPC.
So how many years ago did you do your shows, your IFBB shows?
Sorry?
How many years ago did you do your IFBB shows?
Before having my baby, it was like 4 years ago. My last show, yes.
Okay, continue.
So I saw you on Instagram and how you walk and all your videos, and I want to do that. And when I saw the videos, I mean, you were in a very good shape, but when I saw you, I said, I can do that. I mean, she looks great, but I can do that too. I mean, yo te veía y yo decía, yo puedo alcanzar ese cuerpo también. O sea, te veías linda, skinny, super tonificada, pero era algo que se veía alcanzable. So, and I started like following you and all the girls on WBFF, and I was like, I want to do this. I really want to do this.
How long ago was this?
1 year. Yeah, 1 year or so. Yes.
So you came to one of the seminars that we had at the gym.
Yes. It was, I think it was in January 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before.
The world.
Yes. Right before. And when you walk, the first thing that made me feel like safe with the whole experience was how you teach us to walk.
Okay.
Because it's not easy at all. I mean, si vas a competir en WBFF, you need a posing coach, punto. Because se ve fácil, but it's not at all. And cuando tú empezaste a decirnos es así, yo veía que era difícil, pero tú lo explicabas de una forma y con paciencia, con ese amor. Yo dije, ¿es con ella o con nadie? Entonces, do you remember que fue, tú hiciste el seminario y a la semana ya yo te dije, Lais, yo quiero que tú seas mi coach. Y tú, okay, let's do it.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So then COVID happened to all of them. How did you transition from maybe what you were doing before, going to the gym and all of that, to the gyms being closed, and now you had in your mind that you were going to compete again?
Yes. Bueno, ahí, I have to say this in Spanish.
Claro.
Ahí entraron los dos, incluso Brie, porque el COVID fue muy duro porque nadie se esperaba lo que realmente ha pasado. Entonces, cerraron los gimnasios, yo traté de hacer ejercicio, vino el show que fue virtual, que Lais nos impulsó y un grupo ya estábamos muy cerca. O sea, a mí me dio un bajón de ánimo muy fuerte, que si no es por Lais, yo no sé qué hubiese sido a mí. Yo decidí no hacer el show virtual. Thank you, baby. Estoy hablando aquí. Ve a ver el muñequito, ve. ¡Ay! Un apple, qué rico. Perdón. Entonces, en el COVID, todo el mundo aumentó de peso. Cuando yo vi ese cuerpo de COVID, yo dije, yo no puedo hacer esto. Entonces entró Lais otra vez, que sí, you can do this, you got this, you have like, que eso es algo muy importante de pertenecer a un team, que mucha información, yo sé que usted la dosifica, o sea, no dicen todo, pero es importante porque hay informaciones que tú estando sola no puedes conocer. Entonces, estando en un team como Team Forever, te llegaba la información quizás un poquito antes, quizás que 5, una semana antes que se entere cualquier otra persona. Entonces, ella yo me recuerdo que me dijo, o sea, tú, viene un show quizás en 5, quizás en 3, quizás en 2 meses. Entonces yo dije, bueno, ok, tengo tiempo. Entonces ahí fue que me motivé a hacer el Orlando. Then no vino Orlando. Miami, se canceló la primera fecha, la segunda fecha, entonces hicimos Miami.
Good. Y durante or during the time that the gyms were closed, were you working out at home?
Totalmente.
Okay.
Yo duré solamente 2 weeks que no entrené, pero después todo el tiempo fue en el gym. Incluso antes de noviembre, yo solamente tenía como 3, 4 meses en el gimnasio. Todo fue en la casa porque yo tenía miedo del COVID. Yo no sabía, o sea, no miedo, pero yo tenía miedo sí por la niña, por mi bebé. Entonces todo fue en la casa. Yo les copié muchas rutinas, no lo niego. Al principio yo hacía todas las rutinas que ustedes subían. Entonces fue ahí cuando ya lo empecé a coger en serio, decidí volver al gimnasio, hacía 3 días en el gimnasio, 2 días en el gimnasio y 3 días en la casa. Y fui subiendo progresivamente el tiempo en el gimnasio, pero casi todo fue en la casa.
Why do you think that, nothing to do with the competition, why do you think that you decided that you were going to keep going even though this was happening to everybody?
First of all, for me, because todo fue demasiado fuerte. Entonces yo decidí enfocarme en lo positivo y bueno que yo podía y lo que yo podía controlar, que era mi alimentación, mi entrenamiento. Esa hora que yo salía, yo hacía media hora en la casa, 40 minutos, y entonces después me iba a caminar o corría un poquito o hacía un poquito de las dos, y ese momento era mío nadie me lo podía quitar. Ese tiempo mío, ni mi bebé, ni mi perrita, ni mi marido, nadie. Ese tiempo era para mí. Entonces, eso fue o sea, primero por mí, por cómo yo me sentía, no por nadie. Ni siquiera por un trofeo.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's the way it should be. You know, this journey is
Oh,
personal
family.
journey. It's about you. And clearly you're a busy mom.
I think that if you're not doing it for you, then anything can happen along the way that will take you off the path. If you are not fully committed to doing it for yourself, which honestly, we were just talking about
Literally 5 minutes ago.
before we got on this with you.
Wait, I can hear you guys. Wait, sorry. Wait, baby, no puedo escuchar nada.
No, and
Anything.
for anyone who has the excuse that they have a kid, she's got a baby. Don't worry.
Don't worry. We're live.
Okay, sorry, coach.
This is real shit. This is life.
This is life.
Yeah.
But before we got on to talk to you, her and I were talking about that when you compete, if you're not doing it for you, then it's very difficult to have all those external things keep you motivated.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean,
Absolutely.
I hope to never, be around for another pandemic like this, right? But this was such a test for everybody.
Yes.
It really, it really made the people that really wanted it for themselves continue, and it made a lot of people like just fall off track, fall apart.
Yeah. For sure.
So
Yeah.
during that time, right? So you couldn't go to the gym. How was your eating?
50-50. 50-50. But I believe in consistency. I don't believe anymore in strict diets because they always crash. You always bounce. The bounce back is terrible. I've been there. I mean, I've been super skinny with all my abs. I mean, 6-pack, 8-pack, all the muscles, and then you bounce back like this. So I believe in consistency. You can eat whatever you want today, but tomorrow or maybe 2 days after that, you go to your training and you're eating. I believe in that. So that's what I did during the lockdown.
And then, was it difficult to stay focused while shows kept getting canceled?
Yes, but no, because thank God, and I'm not saying this because I'm with you guys, but thank God, because you remember, Coach, and you, Lais, I was going, yo pensé no hacerlo, faltando que 3 semanas, fue que, Coach, no, yo no puedo, Lais, yo no voy a hacer, no tengo tiempo. And you guys were always so nice and so calm. No, you got this. El coach me empezaba a hacer preguntas. ¿Qué hiciste? ¿Qué comiste? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Dormiste? Maybe you're stressed. This is normal. Y eso me bajaba. Porque la mayoría del team somos mujeres. Y eso es fuerte. Empecé también a conocer mucho más de mi cuerpo. Yo no tenía idea que cuando uno le iba a llegar, uno sí sabe, me siento así, me siento de aquella forma, pero como ustedes explican las cosas y ahí entra un poquito más coach, yo me empezaba a sentir, bueno, ok, me voy a esperar 5 días que se me baje esta locura y entonces sigo. Entonces, sí fue duro, pero por suerte, even coaches need coaches.
Of course.
Porque cuando yo me sentía mal, literalmente 24/7, yo a veces decía, ay, pero le escribo esta hora. Bueno, le voy a escribir, si no me contesta, bueno, mañana. Y entonces me hablaban y yo... So yes, it was hard, but you guys were awesome. All the time.
Last night we did a webinar for people that are looking to compete for the first time. And for us, that's really one of the things that we say all the time, that it's so important to have somebody that you could relate to, somebody that's doing the same thing that you're doing, so that even if they don't have an answer, at least they understand.
Yes.
Yes.
Because competing, you've competed for a long time. It's by yourself. You know, you're on an island by yourself. You got to do
Yes.
you got to do the training. Nobody can do it for you, and it's not easy for people to understand why you're doing it.
Right.
Yes. And I had coaches. I mean, when I was competing in DR, I had coaches, but it was not like this. It was eat this, do this, see you later. And that's hard because I mean, you need that understanding. You need that friendship. Let's say like this.
And the flexibility too, that life is going to happen.
Oh.
Your daughter needs you. Someday maybe you got caught up at work or with whatever and you couldn't eat this way. So everything can be fixed on the spot instead of like, all right, you know, we'll chat in a week or whatever the case is.
Yeah, ahora que tú mencionas flexibilidad, yo me recuerdo en uno de los últimos seminarios de poses que yo no me recuerdo, faltando 8 semanas para el show de Miami, para el último show de Miami, yo me recuerdo que yo estaba haciendo una locura y Lais me agarró y me dijo, mira, yo creo que tú, y ahí fue que empezó como el cuento de que yo entré full en lleno con Team Forever. Y yo pensaba, o sea, cuando el coach me mandó la primera guía de lo que yo tenía, o sea, de mi plan, yo me quedé con la boca abierta. Yo no iba a aguantar haciendo lo que yo estaba haciendo, porque yo sí sé mantenerme en forma, yo sí sé alcanzar que entrenar, no sé qué, pero a nivel de competencia, por más que tú compitas, no es fácil hacerlo solo.
No.
Entonces, no, yo recomiendo que cuando una persona se va a entrar, o sea, como yo me sentí cuando ya yo empecé con el coach, definitivamente, yo dije, yo debía hacer esto por lo menos 12 semanas para atrás, porque yo sufrí mucho con la alimentación y eso, que era mucho más flexible que antes.
Right.
Cuando yo vi que el coach me puso cosas que a mí y me preguntó, ¿qué te gusta comer? ¿Qué te gusta comer? ¿Qué no te gusta comer? Cuando yo vi que mi plan tenía todo, yo dije, ¿qué hice?
You know, it's funny because not only that, but so let's be real, right? Because it's important that people know the difference. It's how did you approach the first few days when, you know, I gave you a lot of food. I know that I gave you a lot of food,
Yes.
right? But how did you approach those first few days?
She's like, I miss it now. All the food.
Those first few days, was it hard for you to eat it all? Were you always thinking this isn't going to work?
It was hard, but I decided, y voy a decir esta palabra, decidí olvidarme de todo lo que yo sabía y de todo lo que yo había experimentado y confiar en el proceso, confiar en las manos en las que yo me estaba entregando. Porque si tú no decides confiar, no te sirve de nada contratar al coach más coach de la tierra.
Right.
Si tú no decides primero tú, el coach no te puede ayudar. So, yo decidí confiar y yo decía, ¡ay, cuánta comida! Y cuando entonces ya pasó la primera semana que yo sí vi que mi cuerpo respondió y quizá no me veía tan lean como yo empecé, pero entonces, ok, no, tampoco no era que había engordado, pero ustedes entienden cómo uno se siente, que uno dice, ay, si engordo y si no engordo, me como eso, mejor no me lo como, pero dije, te lo come. Me comía todo y ya 15 days after that, I was like, damn, coach. Empecé a ver que mi cuerpo respondió como yo quería que respondiera. Si yo seguía haciendo esa dieta, faltando 8 semanas para la competencia, yo no quiero decir mucho lo que estaba haciendo para que nadie invente, pero iba a ser muy duro y yo creo que no iba a poder lograr lo que logramos cuando subimos a la tarima, que fue realmente, gracias a Dios que me fue bien, pero realmente era lo que yo soñaba llevar al stage. Un cuerpo que se viera con muscles, pero lean, o sea, delgada, femenina. Eso fue lo que se logró. Yo le dije al coach lo que yo quería y el coach me encaminó por ahí. Yo confié y decidí trust the process.
It's key. It is hard though, because whether you know things or you don't know things, we've all heard things, we've all read things, we've all experienced things. When you see Nutella, for those who have Nutella, or when you see an open meal, or when you see all that food, all that
Or a glass
rice,
of wine.
or wine,
Yes.
or rice, it really becomes like, holy shit! It's like, this doesn't look like what I think it needs to look like.
But you know what's funny? That happens in all sports, right? Because this is a sport.
Yeah.
But that happens in every sport. If you're a really good basketball player and you're amazing, and then you get a new coach that's going to run different plays, you're like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think that we could win like this, because
Yes.
that seeing it from a different perspective, you know. But this sport, like every sport, you have to at least buy into the process and see how it plays out. And
Yes.
you know, before, because if not, then again, you're on stage and you're being judged, so you can't see yourself.
Right.
Only the
Yes.
people judging you can see it. So you need external opinions and cues to say we're on the right path,
Absolutely.
on the right path.
Yeah, even if you're not on stage, like just through that journey, like
Right.
you said, there's so many ups and downs.
Yes.
There's so many emotions, there's so many doubts, there's so many things that
Yes.
in control of that. You have to let someone handle it.
Yeah, y uno empieza a compararse también. Por ejemplo, cada atleta sube su, fulano o Juana se está comiendo ahora un pollo con brócoli. Entonces mi plato no dice ni la mitad de eso. Yo me estoy comiendo dos cuadros de pan con queso. Entonces, ¿cómo ella lo hace así? Yo así, pero entonces ahí entra lo de confiar y también no compararse, porque ningún coach es igual, ningún atleta es igual. Solamente vemos lo que vemos en redes sociales. No sabemos qué esa persona hace, cómo vive, cuál es su rutina, no sabemos nada. Entonces, comparar una alimentación que tú estás viendo en Instagram, porque esa persona compartió esa única comida, sin tú saber que esa persona está haciendo el día entero, 24 horas, eso está muy, no es fucked up. O sea, tú no puedes, claro, tú no puedes comparar una sola comida con un día entero. Entonces, no te compares. Y trust the process, porque eso fue lo que yo creo que me ayudó en todo el proceso.
Do you think for people that are considering competing, right, for the first time, do you think that following too many people on social media does more harm than good? You know, because I think that they should for inspiration, but I think that if they start looking too much into what everybody's doing, it just creates confusion. Do you think that that's the case?
You said it all. Y yo dejé de seguir mucha gente, porque también hay que recordar que hay muchos atletas que seguimos que tienen el Instagram como un negocio, o sea, negocio como persona, porque por ejemplo ustedes promueven el team, ustedes promueven lo que hacen, pero hay gente que se promueven ellos, entonces dicen mentiras. Y cuando tú ves una persona en persona, cuando tú ves un atleta en persona y tú lo ves en Instagram, a mí mucha gente, no, yo no quiero que esto suene feo, pero 2 o 3 muchachitas me decepcionaron en persona. Yo, that bitch. Entonces, sí, yo creo que a veces mejor enfocarte en tu proceso, porque recuerdo otra vez, lo tienes que hacer por ti. El estímulo es un trofeo o una medalla, pero eso no significa que tú no seas un campeón, porque solamente pararte en un stage donde te están viendo, había mucha gente con todo y COVID. Solamente pararte ahí, llevar tu cuerpo a ese nivel, sea el nivel que sea que tú elijas llevarlo, eso te hace un campeón. Un trofeo o lo que diga un juez que tiene un gusto diferente no te hace o no campeón. Es lo que tú logras contigo.
The social media thing is very deceiving because
Yes.
you know, it's highlights of people's lives, of people's days, right? No one's posting their failures for the most part. So social media is amazing. Like I love that we get to connect with people from all over the world that we would have never met. So social media is amazing, and it's great for inspiration, but that comparison game is honestly like poisonous. And
yes,
starts to become, oh, but this girl's going, I wonder if she's in my category. Is she tall? Is she short? Is she 35 and up? You know, like, I wonder if this girl's going to be there. I wonder if that girl, and then you start to do that instead of focus on you, because like we said from the top, if this process is about you, then it doesn't fucking matter who's showing up, right? Because it's
of course, yes.
But it does become one of those things where it's a trap. And I've been there too, where all you do is look at who else is going to be there and what are they doing and what do they look like, you know, and it's not good. It takes away from the experience.
Yes. And you know what? You have to decide what is that you really want to do. Because if you want to win, okay, go for the win and do whatever you got to do. But if you, I mean, let me say this. There are coaches, I'm not talking just about WBFF, but not all the coaches are coaches. If you Google coach, you're going to see that, because so many coaches in the industry are just like, they just want the money. But having a coach that is there for you, I mean, I remember one time I told you, coach, no me ponga almendra, ni ningún nuts, ni ningún nada que tenga que ver con nuts, porque me como el pote entero. Y el coach me dijo, ok, entonces lo podemos replace por esto y esto y aquello. Y yo me recuerdo que me dijiste, gracias por la sinceridad. Yo estaba totalmente comprometida, pero conmigo. Lo que pasó, gané, qué bueno, pero yo estaba comprometida conmigo y por eso hoy por hoy me siento bien. Igual no hubiese ganado y me hubiese sentido igual bien.
But
So,
I think that the challenge is that the coaching relationship has to go both ways, right? Because for me, if I'm saying do this and the person never tells me,
absolutely,
I feel good, maybe I feel uncomfortable, you know, or like you said, if you give me this, I can't control it, so I don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be honest, you know, and if you're not communicating constantly, then a process like this that requires constant communication is going to end up failing at some point.
Yes.
You know?
yes.
On your side, and maybe you're not having a good experience. Maybe you're doing it, right? Maybe you're like, no, I'm committed, I'm going to do it. But maybe you're not having a good experience along the way.
Stressing, and then that takes away from the purpose, from the goal.
Yes.
You know?
And speaking of experience, so how was your experience overall that weekend? Llegaste al hotel, you got to the hotel.
Can't wait to do it again. I can't wait. I mean, but with this team, because éramos como hermanas. Yo relajaba tanto con Erika, con Marce, con todas. Even with Faith, que a Faith la conocimos, fue ya en el hotel.
Yeah.
Yo me sentía, ustedes se durmieron y nosotros nos quedamos pachangueando abajo. Entonces, esa experiencia, pues desde el momento, primero me encantó que Lais cuidó mucho cada detalle. Por ejemplo, yo soy muy ida con muchas cosas y como ustedes ven, tengo una niña, el perro, no sé qué. Entonces Lais me decía, did you text the bikini girl? No quiero decir, no, I mean, Magic Bikinis. Did you do this? ¿Hiciste eso? Practica. Entonces, tener esa alarma, por lo menos a mí me conviene, porque yo no soy tan metódica, entonces para mí eso fue fundamental. Y el fin de semana, mejor dicho, yo llegué tranquila porque ya tenía una semana, 15 días, ¿qué? Una semana, 15 días, un mes, ya yo tenía todo. Y yo le decía a Lais, ¿qué te parece ese arete? Eso no me gusta, mejor búscate otro, no sé qué. Entonces, eso fue perfecto. Eso me aseguró llegar tranquila al fin de semana. Ya cuando llegamos al fin de semana, ya sabíamos todo lo que íbamos a hacer porque ustedes avisaron con tiempo. Firmen esto, lleven tal papel. O sea, llegamos y fue todo encajando día, hora por hora. A tal hora bajan, a tal hora suben, a tal hora foto, a tal hora esto. Y eso fue demasiado positivo porque ese fin de semana es duro. A pesar de que o sea, yo no me puedo quejar de mi plan para nada. Ese fin de semana fue duro, coach. O sea, había poca comida, muy poquita. Y yo me recuerdo que creo que era Marcia o Bahar que decían, cónchale, tan chévere mi plan, pero entonces el coach viene y de repente te quita los carbs. Y yo, no me lo digas. Entonces esa semana fue dura.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because that's such a small price to pay for such a big goal.
Yes.
Like I do the same thing. I'm like, what are you trying to do to me? What did I do to you? Right? Like we complain that we have no carbs for like a few days.
And the cardio.
So people go weeks doing cardio and no carbs. And here we are on show week and we're complaining.
Yes. From no cardio at all. To 40, 30, 35, 45, 40. I was like, coach.
So the first night we had check-ins in the hotel, in the room with the whole team.
Mm-hmm. That was so fun.
To me, that's like when the weekend starts.
Yes, absolutely.
And then how was registration night for you? Everybody got dressed up.
How did it feel?
How did it feel?
Absolutely great. I was feeling like Adele, like Mariah. I was feeling like a diva. That's the word. The makeup, the glam, the hair, the tan, the first coat.
Mhm.
I was looking at me on the mirror. On the mirror, I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
To correct me. And I was, this is me. I'm a diva. I was joking with my mom and Leo, and I'm a diva. Say diva to me because si no, yo no atiendo. WBFF is truly a whole other thing. There's nothing.
I don't know if you saw in our team page, I shared earlier the registration for the Mr. Olympia that they had today, where all the athletes get their number. Y están todos en like
Sweatpants.
and
Sí,
like,
sí.
no se afeitaron, like.
Que esa fue una de las cosas que también, no, me llamó la atención creo que fue el primer, yo fui a todos los webinars, a todos los, a todos los, yes, workshop, thank you. Yo fui a todos, y yo me recuerdo que cuando yo me llegó, que de verdad yo dije, no hay duda, fue cuando dijeron eso, porque después de la bebé, after having a baby, I mean, yes, after, tú, como mujer, y yo quiero ser 100% sincera con eso, uno cambia mucho. Cambia tu cuerpo, cambia tu mente, cambian tus prioridades y uno se olvida mucho de la mujer porque uno se volvió mamá y la prioridad es el bebé. Entonces, cuando dijeron, porque cuando yo recuerdo que ustedes tampoco nunca mencionaban ningún tipo de organización, sino decían en otras competencias. Que también me gustó eso, bueno, pero decían, en otras competencias, cuando tú vas al registration, tú vas en sweats y no sé qué, yo sé, yo no quiero eso, yo quiero, mi amor, ponerme un traje. Entonces ahí fue que yo dije, me voy aquí. Y cada cosa fue conectando, por eso yo creo que los workshops, en este caso webinar, son muy importantes, porque en cada uno ustedes dan details que quizás se le quedaron en el otro, y yo exhorto a cada quien que vaya, si te pica esa boquillita, no te pierdas un webinar.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes too, maybe we say the same thing, but maybe we hear. It's like watching a movie the second time.
Yes.
Things you didn't see the first time, you know? So there's always something else you catch. But we like to make sure that we are very respectful of all the other organizations, because the truth is that we have nothing against them. We are watching the Mr.
I'm a fan.
Of course, me too.
Love it.
We watch all of that stuff. We follow a lot of athletes.
But you doing it for the first time, you show up, like we showed up together, like our whole team walked in. But then you walk into the room and everybody's there.
Yes.
And you know, it changes everything because you feel like you're part of something bigger.
Yes, absolutely. That's how you feel.
Yep. And I say it all the time, and you just said it. There's nothing like it, right?
Nothing like it.
Compare or to talk about anything else. This is its own thing. And it is an amazing feeling. It's an entire weekend of just feeling beautiful. You worked really hard. You know, you showed up for yourself. You've transformed inside and out. And this weekend, you get to feel all the feels and you get to experience it, you know, with the team. Talk to us about backstage.
Yeah, how was that?
Awesome. It's like a party. Ya no hay, o sea, ya, lo que tú ibas a hacer, ya lo hiciste. Y voy a hacer un paréntesis, aquí voy a hacer un énfasis. Por eso hay que fajarse y comprometerse con su meta, porque ya cuando tú estás en ese momento, si el que lo ha vivido me entiende, ya ahí ya no hay nada que hacer. Y todo el mundo se ve bien, todo el mundo está en su mejor condición física, todo el mundo está hermoso con trajes, invirtió dinero en bikinis, entonces da el 200% y sea lo que sea que te veas o te sientas, habla con tu coach, porque con tiempo hay solución. Si tú escondes algo, no hay solución. Entonces, el backstage fue awesome. En el caso de nosotras, que no éramos pro, Lais no estaba con nosotras, entonces Bree se encargó de todo. Yo me recuerdo que mi bikini me quedaba como flojo, porque la última noche, como el coach dijo, ya después de cierta hora le bajan un poquito al agua. Por lo menos en mi caso. Entonces, ya yo no estaba bebiendo mucha agua, sino era más bien como, 4 onzas o así. Y yo estaba acostumbrada a beberme casi 2 galones de agua. Entonces, bueno, me quedaba tan flojo y Brie me ayudó y me lo amarró. Entonces, papá, quítamelo. O sea, fue muy nice porque todas nos ayudamos. Y en el caso cuando yo entré, que yo era nueva, Brie me miró y me miró como, ¿será que yo estaba así como tensa? Ella me dijo, don't worry, I'm here. Lais is there, but I'm here. And I was like, "Oh, thank you", porque yo no la quería molestar, ella también está en su proceso. So, it was so nice. De los otros team también, ahí no hay competencia, nadie compite con nadie. Eso fue lo que más me encantó de WBFF, que en otras organizaciones que yo había estado, todo el mundo te mira como que se nota, se nota como esa competencia y ok, uno está compitiendo, pero se hace más agradable para todos si estamos de la mano. Del otro team que habían una chica al lado también demasiado nice, qué linda, me encanta tu bikini, qué chévere, hice muchísimas amigas de todas partes del mundo, de Colombia, de Brasil, de aquí obviamente. Pero el backstage, yo lo comparo casi igual con being on stage. Fue demasiado chévere.
That's awesome.
So por fin llegó el momento de subir a la tarima.
How did you feel when you were in those stairs?
I was like this. Lais, I have to say thank you because doing 2 categories is the best when you're doing the show for the first time, because the first category, I think it was wellness, I was shaking. No podía ni siquiera caminar bien y yo me sabía mi rutina porque yo practicaba diario, pero yo estaba temblando y muchas cosas yo la improvisé. Quizá nadie lo sabe porque nadie se sabía mi rutina, pero si la hice el video ya se da cuenta. Entonces, la segunda, después que yo salí de la primera, yo dije, ¡lo quiero hacer otra vez! Entonces, cuando tocó la segunda, yo estaba encendida, como decimos en RD. Me sentí demasiado bien. La experiencia, es que pasa tan rápido, pero de verdad, la experiencia de estar en el stage de WBFF no se compara con ninguna otra experiencia. Yo me sentí como el día de mi boda. Así.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you did 2 categories too. Well, you ended up doing 3, but you know.
Bueno, and again, when you're competing, you know, even what you were saying before about being backstage, right? Like people start to become enemies and they're very competitive, but it's not even up to you. It's up to the person judging, right? So
of course.
You have no control over the outcome. Why are you being a bitch?
Right. Like, it's not like if I beat you, it's not because it's the judge thought that I beat you, right? So,
of course.
But I think that for the first time competitor, especially if you want to know where you fit, it's always a good idea to do multiple categories, especially if you're borderline, right?
Yeah.
Like you could be one or the other, and you're not really sure. It's always good to do multiple categories. You also get more time on stage, you know.
Yes.
And in your case, that helped you.
Yes.
You know?
A lot. And it was amazing because I had this gorgeous bikini on me and I was like, that's it? 5 minutes? No. So yes.
That's how I feel now. I'm like, I feel like I didn't even really wear that bikini and now I can't wear it again.
But you know, it's always so important because people end up seeing that moment, right? They see you on stage with a bikini and you're ripped and they forget all this other stuff that we talked about, working out at home, you know, having to be creative with your workouts.
Working on your
on your posing. How many hotels did we end up posing at, you know, just so that everybody could.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty outgoing and you've done shows before, but like you said, this is a completely other world and a completely other animal.
Yes.
It's very uncomfortable for everybody at first, conquering that, because the only way you have a good experience on stage and you feel pretty is when you conquer that, because you can have all the makeup, hair, and abs in the world.
Yes.
Feel great about all the things that you have. You can't walk in a certain way and showcase it a certain way. It takes away from your experience, right? And
yes.
Learning how to pose and learning how to walk is such a big part of the internal transformation, because it's really out of everyone's comfort zone, no matter how outgoing they are. And that's a thing you got to learn. So that, along with everything else, was something that you started working on pretty early, and that you knew you were like, I need to put work into this, and you did, and it showed.
Right. And honestly, like in her case, we had a photo shoot at the beach and we got an Airbnb and she showed up to practice posing.
Yes.
We had a room in Miami. She showed up to practice posing. We had another place in Fort Lauderdale. She showed up to practice posing. So it's also you, like you said, making sure that you're doing it for yourself and showing up for yourself. You know, I mean, the truth is that our team in general, like that's just what we tell you, because we know that at the end you're going to see the result of showing up for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys made us feel, and yo hacía eso por todo el mundo, demasiado cómodos con la experiencia, porque como decía Lais, yo sí participé en otras experiencias compitiendo, pero lo único que yo puedo decir que fue igual fue quizá tener un deadline, pero la preparación, la alimentación, el entrenamiento, todo es totalmente diferente con WBFF, y eso es lo que más me gustó, porque yo puedo, por ejemplo, mañana yo puedo decirle al coach, ok, coach, yo quiero hacer el mismo programa, pero yo no quiero subir stage. Simplemente me quiero ver stage ready por un photoshoot o porque voy a una boda, pero es importante tener un deadline, o sea, tener por lo menos exactamente, un goal, porque uno no se compromete sin un goal. O sea, se compromete, pero por mitad. Bueno, pero hoy me puedo comer eso porque tengo tantas semanas más. Es importante tener un goal. Gracias.
And we were, I think 3 or 4 weeks out, I was already saying, make sure that while we're getting ready for this, you start to think about what's next. What's next may not be another show. What's next may be something else, right? Maybe you want to run a marathon, or maybe you want to get ready for a photo shoot, but you have to have something next, because if not, you feel empty a little bit, because all of the energy and excitement that you put into this, when you leave,
it's like
now what?
Yes. Yes, like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, and when I competed 4 or 5 years ago, after the show, I mean 3, 4 weeks after the show, I was already like big. I mean, and this time I'm not gonna say only you, because again, yo me comprometí en no perder la forma que logramos.
Right.
Y cuando yo vi en mi correo reverse diet, plan, I was like, ay, coach, dieta. Pero cuando abrí y vi, ok, por lo menos es pasable, y que era como algo progresivo, que no era como, seguimos. Fue muy saludable mentalmente, porque cuando pasa el show, tú te sientes perdido. You feel lost, como que, ¿y ahora qué? Entonces, esa parte, que muchas de las otras amigas de otros teams me decían, pero tú estás igualita y no sé qué. Bueno, tú no estás haciendo un reverse. No, que yo no seguí con mi coach y no me mandó y no sé qué. Entonces, esa parte también es muy importante. El after, porque no es solamente llegué al stage y entonces después del stage, porque tú hiciste ese trayecto para llegar a un cuerpo, a una meta X, y tú la vas a dejar perder en 2 o 3 semanas. O sea, eso no me hace sentido.
Results.
No.
Exacto. I mean,
and it's not worth it,
No, at all.
To lose it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that sometimes you need to go through the process of going to the stage and then maybe losing all that progress, so that you understand the difference between, whatever outcome you get on stage, like that look, you should be able to keep it,
Yes.
Of course, you make certain restrictions and a few sacrifices to get a little bit better, but you should be able to stay right there, more or less, because along the way you made good decisions that keep you there. And as soon as you're ready to do whatever you're going to do next, it should be a relatively, the same process. A little bit here, a little bit there, just enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
But you should be able to live with those results.
Yes. I remember when you first said that about having after the show, having like a goal, like now what? I was doing cardio and I was like, oh, but yo no pensé en eso. Porque el deadline es el show.
Yeah.
Pero es cierto, después del show, ¿qué voy a hacer? O sea, ya se apagaron como Lais publicó hoy. cuando se apagan las luces, cuando ya nadie te ve, ¿ahora qué? Entonces, eso también me llegó mucho y seguido anoté, ok, después del show llegó eso, le dije a Lais qué show tú crees más o menos que yo pueda ir, y ella me preguntó, ok, ¿qué categoría te interesa? Ya yo le dije mi categoría. Entonces ya ella más o menos me dijo, ok, entonces vámonos con este show o vámonos con aquel, al final decidimos. Pero sí es importante tener un goal. Y tú siempre puedes hacer mejor, tú puedes sentirte en tu mejor shape, but you always can improve something.
Of course.
So it's important to have a coach, a guide.
About that today, you know, even you know, again, I'm going to say it because it's this weekend, you know, even Mr. Olympia, right? You know, the guy that won 7 in a row, every year came back a little bit better,
Yes.
but the desire to keep improving belongs to you. Like, you know, you won already, now what?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want to keep getting better and everybody's chasing you, unless you have that inside and you do it for you, you know, you're going to lose it.
And even at your stage now that you're a pro and now you're going to get on a pro stage, there's always room to get better because you're next to people who have possibly been doing this longer than you, right? Or are better than you. Like now it's about the competition. It's always about the experience, right?
Of course.
Even at pro level, like for me, like experience is always first because you can't control the outcome. But if you do your best, you don't know who's showing up next to you, and you don't know what the judges feel and think and what their taste is. So you can't put your entire experience in someone else's hands. So it has to be about you, it has to be for you, and it has to be about the experience first, no matter what. But now you're a pro, right? So now you are chasing a title. She's like, oh my God. Now, like every other pro, you are chasing a pro title. So experience as first, but now you have a job to do. So yes, you do need to get better, and you probably need to get a lot better than you think. Every time that you get better, you step on stage and you realize, holy shit, I have to get a lot better, right? That's just how it is.
But all you can control is what you're doing. Like you can, if you put in 100% and you do everything that you were supposed to do, and you look the best you've ever looked, that's all you can control, right? You can't control what the other does or who else is coming to compete. You don't want to do this and then in the back of your mind be saying, man, you know, I slacked here and I slacked there. It's the worst feeling. You know, because then there's a bunch of regret and maybe motivates you to do better next time. But I think that at all points in time, you have to be thinking about, am I doing everything that I can to get the outcome?
And I'll tell you this, the beauty to me of this sport is 2 things. One, you have to earn it. Like you have to put in the work. There's no way around it. And that builds a lot of integrity and self-confidence. And 2, it's slow as fuck. Like it is a slow process.
Yes.
Give it all you've got for a year and you will be amazing and like a completely different person, and you'll feel great and you know you transformed, but you will walk off that stage happy, but already knowing the 10 things you need to work on. And it's a blessing and a curse because it can get stressful, like it's never enough, right? But it also is a process of constant self-improvement, constantly bettering yourself. There's always more. There's always another level. And the only way to do it is slowly earning it. So there's always another layer.
Absolutely.
And you know what? This is why you can't compare, because you don't know what the other person is doing. I mean, we all on the team are like natural. I mean, we don't take things. And I don't know, I don't want this to sound bad, but I don't know what the other girl is doing or taking, or you know what I mean? So eso es lo primero. Concentrate en ti y que tu competencia sea la pasada tú. O sea, cuando yo vuelva al stage, mi única y mayor y principal competencia es esa muchacha que se paró ahí ese día. Porque lo que ella logró, yo lo tengo que superar. Yo no puedo ir igual o peor. Entonces, por eso también digo que siempre hay algo que uno puede mejorar. O sea, ya yo más o menos con la foto sé, pero también ahí entra la parte del coach, porque quizás para mí, desde mi ignorancia, por decirlo así, yo digo que me falta un poquito más de hombro y un poquito más de espalda, pero quizá el coach me está viendo que tiene experiencia y ha visto cientos de cuerpos. No, tú no estás simétrica o te falta aquí o te falta aquí. Entonces, siempre hay algo que se puede mejorar.
And especially
Siempre.
a coach that is in that, like, familiar with that federation and those bodies, right?
Absolutely.
The different categories. And we are our own worst critics, but sometimes we don't see things for what they are. So that's something something that, like you said, a coach needs to handle. But I wanted to touch on something that you are a great example of someone not comparing. You stepped on stage for the first time and you got a pro card, right? And maybe a girl next to you is like, oh my God, like I didn't get a pro card, right? But that girl doesn't know that you've competed 5 times a few years ago, and you've been working out for 10 years. Maybe she's been working out for 6 months or a year and she looks amazing.
Yes.
Now she's comparing herself to someone that she knows nothing about. Someone came in ridiculous shape and won. And that's all she can think. This girl's an amateur. She's in my category. How come she looks so much better than me? You don't know that she's put in 10 years of work and she's been on stage before.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's why the comparison thing is not just you don't know how someone preps. You don't know where they've been, what they've done. So it goes beyond what they've taken or, you know, what their diet looks like. It's what does that person's journey look like, which goes back to what you're saying. You can only compare yourself to you because you're the only one with your journey.
Absolutely.
I think that all of those things are, or at least on our team, it's so good to see the variety, right? Because we have, you know, like, again, and I was saying this last night, you know, we've had people that have never worked out before, like never, ever, 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 you know, and
in their 40s.
And for us, maybe that sounds weird, right? And sometimes, I remember I said, what do you mean, like this year or like, no, like never, ever, ever. And that person can do this. And she did, you know, just like the person that's been competing and is looking for something different can come and do this and both of you can have an amazing experience, you know, because
Absolutely.
at the end, you still get the outcome that you wanted, you know, and I think that this goal, this stage, this federation allows that to happen across the board for everybody.
With the different categories, with letting your personality shine through with your bikini, with the dresses, you know, with the posing, you get to be you. And maybe you look like you and you get a pro card. Maybe you do transformation because you've lost 50 pounds or 100 pounds, right? So like room for everybody, but the experience, like you said, is across the board universal. Everyone can have that glam and exhilarating experience where you're just beautiful and feminine and you're just a different you that you built, that you created.
Absolutely.
100%.
I have to say 2 things. First, del team hay, para no decir todas, hay unas cuantas personas que yo admiro y me sirvieron de motivación, porque yo veía el antes y veía cómo iba, y yo le mencioné a Lais 2 de esas personas, y yo veía el progreso y decía, increíble, y una de ellas incluso se pareció tanto a mí el día del show, que en mi paquete de fotos me metieron foto de ella, y mi mamá me decía, había una muchacha que siempre yo me confundía con ella, yo creía que era tú, y yo, ¿quién será? Y cuando yo vi la foto y se la enseñé a mi mamá decía, ella, y esa muchacha, no voy a decir el nombre aquí, hace 4 meses no es ni la mitad de la persona que estaba en el stage. Y yo se lo dije a ella backstage, yo le dije, tú te ves hermosa, te felicito, la abracé, ella me abrazó, porque, o sea, de 3 meses aquí, era una cosa, y yo me recuerdo que ella posteaba su comida, lo que hacía a diario, todo, y ella me motivó muchísimo. Cuando yo me sentía low, yo entraba en su Instagram, y yo decía, no, yo lo tengo que hacer también, porque ese es mi teammate, y vamos para allá. Entonces, lo segundo es que me encanta de WBFF que tú tienes el chance de exhibir tu personalidad. Por ejemplo, quizás mi bikini fue rojo con violeta y tenía algo que colgaba, pero el de otra persona tenía una pluma. Y eso me encanta porque tú puedes decir lo que tú eres y lo que te gusta, en un stage y también no te restringe tanto. O sea, sí hay reglas, claro que sí, pero no es una cosa como que, ay, tú no puedes subir el brazo y tú no puedes, porque eso es incómodo. Se supone que es un showcase. Tú estás enseñando lo que tú lograste. Entonces, eso me fascina de WBFF. I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait.
21, here we come. Pro show, pro debut.
Yay.
So here's, I always ask everybody that comes on, for the person that's listening that is curious about competing. Maybe they're thinking about it. Maybe they're wondering if they could do it. Maybe they're like, I don't know, what would you say to that person that's like on the fence, that maybe like, inspires them or motivates
What's
them?
your advice?
Do it. Don't think about it. Do it. You'll love it. Single step of the way. Fuera de relajo, no es fácil. Y hay momentos, o sea, uno ya hoy que salió del show y ya no hay dieta, ya no hay cardio, ya no hay duda, uno lo dice así, oh my God, I'm here. Pero vale tanto la pena al final, y vuelvo y digo, no solamente el cambio físico es un plus de lo que tú logras por dentro de ti. Entonces, si tú quieres cambiar tu mente, tu cuerpo, tu seguridad, yo me he mantenido fit, por decir así, por mucho tiempo, incluso después de mi bebé, yo me mantuve fit y vi un six-pack, pero es la experiencia entera, o sea, lo que tú vas viendo, como decía Lais, el ir haciendo tu bikini, qué color, qué toques le pongo, todo eso te va como empujando. Cada paso que tú das te va como haciendo que tú te esfuerces más. Entonces, si tú tienes la duda, te voy a decir ahora mismo, a sinceridad, que saca esa duda y hazlo, porque no hay nada más bonito que tú vayas a sentir que verte en ese stage y sentirte como una verdadera estrella. Y la experiencia con WBFF es espectacular. Las maquillistas, nosotros estábamos con todo el COVID, nos abrazábamos y yo quisiera que este COVID todas son la gente que te pintan, que te ponen el tan, también súper chévere, déjame seguirte en Instagram, sígueme tú, eso como una familia. So do it. Te va a acordar de mí si no lo hace.
Go ahead.
My question that I always ask, what is, or what has been the most impactful thing for you in this journey, from beginning to end? Like what impacted you, your life the most?
Tantas cosas. I mean, I think everything. Because thanks COVID, todo cambió, o sea, la vida entera cambió y todo fue un challenge. Y el yo sentir que cada challenge que se presentaba, yo lo movía, yo me siento invencible. Yo no sé si esto suena muy cocky, pero yo me siento invencible. Yo siento que si mañana yo me pongo una meta, yo sé que yo la voy a lograr. Porque si con todo y COVID, con todo y el impedimento, la misma Alison Dille lo decía el día del registration night en la reunión de atletas, que fue muy duro y todo, y ellos, o sea, cada cosa que uno venció en este trayecto, era como que tú ibas ganando un puntico, o sea, como un check mark. Ok, cambiaron la fecha, check, sigo. Me subieron el cardio, check, sigo. Me bajaron los carbs, check, sigo. Entonces, cada cosa esa te hace sentir invencible. Y en mi caso, que mi matrimonio se vio muy mayugado con el COVID, yo tengo mucho tiempo sin ver a mi familia, el idioma ha sido una barrera, porque a pesar de que yo entiendo absolutamente todo, yo no puedo hablar como hablan todo el mundo aquí. Mi bebé en una edad dura, no poder ir al gimnasio, muchas veces yo decía, ¿y será que tu entrenamiento me va a servir? Y al otro día, cuando tú te levantas con el dolorazo de cuerpo, tú dices, ay, porque esa es otra, cuando a veces en el gimnasio hay cosas que yo no podía hacer y lo hacía en la casa. Y o sea, fue todo, yo descubrí tanto y aprendí tanto. Me salí de la caja. Si no es en un gimnasio, y si no como 6 comidas, y si no hago 1 hora de cardio, yo no voy a alcanzar mi cuerpo. Y esta preparación fue al revés. Yo no hacía una hora de cardio, yo comía pan todos los días, yo comía popcorn, yo bebía vino, faltando 7 semanas. Yo nunca en mi vida viví eso. Entonces, todo eso, para mí todo fue totalmente diferente y aprendí demasiado.
Awesome.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
I love this. This was such an amazing chat. So good.
So if you are watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever you're listening to, like it, ask questions.
Yes.
If you're
comment.
If you are watching it on Facebook, drop your questions in the comments.
You.
Answer all of them.
Yes.
Sheyla,
Thank you. We love you.
We are.
I love you guys.
We didn't even talk about her karaoke after the show, but that's another day.
Otro día hablamos de karaoke.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Lais.
Bye, love.